For 50 years, the script for career success was written around an airplane ticket. You took out a massive loan, you cleared your exams, and you flew to London, Silicon Valley, or Sydney to find the real work. But right now, a geographic revolution is quietly dismantling that script. The world's biggest companies aren't literally packing up their headquarters. Instead, they are decentralizing their power. They are moving their most critical, high-value functions closer to where the talent actually lives. Welcome to Curious Minds podcast. I'm your host, Nandini, from Mysore, known for its majestic palaces and rich heritage in India. I want you to picture a scene that is universally understood across the global south. It is midnight at the International Departure Terminal. You know the smell. It is that mix of polished floors, stale coffee, and raw anxiety. You are standing there with two overweight suitcases, hugging your parents goodbye. They are incredibly proud, but their eyes are shining with tears. You are leaving because the real work, the big opportunities, are 5,000 miles away. For decades, that airport goodbye was the mandatory toll you paid for a world-class career. We accepted that emotional severing as just the cost of doing business. But what if I told you that the toll booth is being dismantled? Today, we are auditing the rise of Global Capability Centers, or GCCs. We are going to explore how they evolved from basic call centers into the absolute nerve centers of global innovation. And we will see what this geographic shift means for your career, your wallet, and the future of your family. Let's start by defining the concept, because a GCC is not a traditional outsourcing company. When you hear outsourcing, you might picture a third-party vendor handling customer service calls or basic IT maintenance. A global capability center is entirely different. It is a wholly owned subsidiary of the parent multinational company. You aren't working for a vendor. You are wearing the badge of Google, AstraZeneca, or Boeing. And the function of these centers has transformed. 20 years ago, companies sent their back-office accounting overseas purely for cost arbitrage. Today, a rapidly growing share of GCCs are the epicenters of global R&D. Microsoft develops key parts of Azure from India. Target manages critical retail algorithms from Bengaluru. JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs run heavy quantitative finance operations out of their Indian hubs. Now, to be clear, not every GCC is building artificial intelligence. Many still handle vital enterprise IT, risk compliance, and data operations. But the ceiling has been shattered. It is no longer just IT maintenance. It is pharmaceuticals, aerospace, and advanced engineering. Let's look at the sheer scale of this, and specifically, why India is pulling this massive gravitational weight. Industry tracking shows there are now over 1,500 of these centers in India alone. They employ upwards of 1.5 million professionals. But why is India attracting this? Is it just to save a dollar? No. While cost efficiency is always a factor, the primary motive today is talent depth and scale. It isn't simply that the West is struggling to produce STEM graduates. It's that regions like India offer an unusually deep, highly skilled scale of engineering and digital talent. If global companies don't tap into this massive pipeline, they simply cannot innovate fast enough to survive. And the macroeconomic shift this is causing is phenomenal. For decades, India's primary economic benefit from its top global talent was remittances, money sent back home by expats living in the US or UK. Remittances are still massive today. But with the rise of GCCs, we are complementing that by creating high-value income locally. When top talent stays home and earns global standard salaries, it creates a massive surge in direct tax contributions and domestic consumption. The wealth is being generated, taxed, and spent locally. This fundamentally strengthens the backbone of the economy. So, how does this benefit you, the individual professional? Since I have worked in global HR for a decade, I can share this based on direct experience. Employees often value two things above all else: money and culture. First, purchasing power parity, or PPP. Earning a top-tier GCC salary in Hyderabad or Pune provides an incredibly high standard of living. When you adjust for the cost of rent, healthcare, and daily expenses, a senior engineer at a GCC in India often enjoys a higher disposable income and a better quality of life than an engineer earning a mid-tier salary in San Francisco, where a massive chunk of their paycheck goes straight to their landlord. Second, culture. We know that local corporate cultures in developing markets can sometimes be notoriously demanding, with brutal hours and rigid hierarchies. But GCCs frequently operate differently. They tend to import global HR standards. When a European or American Fortune 500 company sets up a GCC, they generally bring their progressive global culture with them. They strive to offer structured 5-day work weeks, comprehensive parental leave, and robust mental health policies. Now, let me be brutally honest. It is not a universal utopia. Some centers still struggle with local management styles. The reality of working across time zones can mean late-night calls that bleed into your personal life. But the aspiration is there, and the best GCCs are forcing the entire local market to treat employees better. Now, let's rationalize the risks and the macro trends. Let's start with the expat community. I know many of you are terrified right now, watching massive layoffs sweep across the tech hubs of the West, constantly refreshing visa bulletins. But we are witnessing the early signs of a boomerang effect. As Western multinationals rethink their physical footprints, the gravitational pull is slowly shifting. We are beginning to see highly skilled diaspora, and increasingly, global foreign talent, competing for leadership roles in emerging hubs like India, the UAE, and Poland. The number of global leadership roles based in India has zoomed from a handful a decade ago to thousands today. The power is moving to where the work is done. But I also have to warn you about the downside. This GCC boom carries risk. Over-reliance on foreign multinationals creates a concentration risk for the local economy. If a parent company in the US faces a sudden downturn, or if AI automates away mid-level coding, thousands of local jobs could be frozen overnight. We are attaching our local stability to global volatility. Which brings us to the next generation, the future builders currently studying for their exams, and the parents preparing to fund those dreams. Let's speak to the parents first. If you are listening to this, agonizing over taking out a retirement-draining loan for your child's overseas education, take a breath. The world has changed. Your child does not have to cross an ocean to work for a Fortune 500 company. Those companies are actively recruiting from campuses in your own country right now. And to the students, an international degree is a wonderful thing if you want cultural immersion or if you are pursuing highly specialized academic research. But for many modern careers in tech, finance, and consulting, the absolute need to move abroad is reducing. Do not flee your home country out of sheer panic or the belief that success only exists in the West. You can build a world-class career from your own living room. The trend is moving away from offshore versus onshore. We are moving toward a vision where a team of designers in Frankfurt collaborates equally with an engineering pod in Bangalore. In the most accurate sense, the goal is simple: there is no offshore team. There is just the team. Let's synthesize what this all means for our future. By 2030, while visas, geopolitics, and regulations will still matter, we are trending toward a much more borderless corporate ecosystem. Before we wrap up, I want to be clear. I am not here to blindly sell you the concept of AGCC or mandate that you apply for one. To be honest, I plan to retire early once our family goals are met, and I am contented in my own ways. But this is about sharing what I see from the front lines of global talent. Leave a comment if your lived experience looks different. The global map of talent has been redrawn. The soil right beneath your feet is finally fertile enough to grow the biggest ideas on earth. Optimize your life for skills, not zip codes. I'm Nandini and this is Curious Minds Podcast. Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you next week.